For this presentation, I will slightly cover the meaning, history, and uses of simulation technology for training and educating aspiring healthcare professionals. The use of technology in education is changing both educators' and students' roles and responsibilities. Simulation is a tool used to assist in resolving patient safety issues while enhancing student learning. It is an educational process that replicates the clinical work environment and requires students to demonstrate an identified skill set. Within the past decade, there have been a rapid growth in simulation in healthcare training for the purpose of improving patient safety and quality of care. Advances in simulation education techniques and technology have led to a new standard in training and assessment and plays an important role in medical education. Simulations are changing the way healthcare providers learn. Integrating advanced technologies in the curriculum is an efficient and effective way for bringing health professional education into the digital age and assisting students to gain the competencies they need in the practice. It can be extremely dangerous to teach students in real-life situations as they could harm themselves or the patient. Using simulations in healthcare education enables students to experience conditions and experiment with outcomes that is not possible with real-life patients. Simulations add emphasis to what students have already learned in the classroom in a controlled environment where their mistakes can be corrected and their knowledge exemplified. Some of the goals of simulations include engaging and inspiring students in that simulations allow students to repetitively practice essential skills where their mistakes are learning experiences that have room for growth and development. Because students can monitor what works and what doesn't work, they are able to devise lasting solutions. Simulations provide feedback at any given time. Students can take this feedback to make corrections and further work on developing solutions. Lastly, since simulations offer a safe and controlled realistic environment, learning outcomes, whether right or wrong, will not cause harm to the equipment, staff, student, or patient. This allows students to correctly assess the situation to ensure that resources and tools will result in positive outcomes. As you can see here, this list presents important historical simulation and healthcare team training efforts. Efforts have increased over the past decades with advances continuing today. While simulators, environments, communities of knowledge, and team training emerge in different healthcare fields, quality patient care is the focusing feature for each development. These simulators brought about new products, new concepts, new prospects, and new motivations through engaging and sharing creativity and feedback from trainers and trainees. Although the history of healthcare professionals appear to have diverged over time with many resulting problems, these problems have served as an opportunity for professionals to understand their own role and develop many levels of specialization and expertise. These are a few examples of the types of simulations available. Additionally, several combinations of techniques are possible depending on the target population, previous background, and specific educational goals. Nonetheless, any simulation method will allow students to be challenged to think creatively and test out-of-the-box solutions that may be applied in situations that could possibly arise on the job. Low technology simulation includes central venous line replacement mannequin and basic life support mannequins. Screen-based computer simulation consists of software for physiology learning and software for problem-based learning. Standardized patients are basic semiology training, low-fidelity trauma simulation, and objective structured clinical examination assessment. Complex task trainers include virtual reality devices and endoscopy simulators. Realistic patient simulators consist of high-fidelity full-team anesthesia simulators and advanced cardiac life support simulators. The preparation of a simulation session involves the creation of a safe and positive learning environment. A simulation is characterized by four core components: The first component is exposure, which consists of the trainee's introduction and briefing of the problem ahead. The second element is sequence, which helps students to build upon their knowledge and allows them to have a better performance throughout the exercise. The third core component is feedback, and it refers to the continuous exchange of information between trainer and trainee. This process takes place during or after the simulation. The instructor must be observant of the student's abilities and performance in order to guide the learning process. Finally, the last component is repetition, which provides improved retaining of knowledge learned during the simulation. Despite major improvements, there are challenges, of course. One challenge of implementing simulations is the high cost. Financial resources can be a restriction. The simulation should be tailored to educational objectives according to available resources, which is a process where innovation and student participation plays a central role. Another challenge takes place where students feel that simulations dehumanize patients. Using clinical mannequins risks dehumanizing the patient-learner relationship in simulation-based learning. In this setting, students may consider the primary objective as the practice and assessment of their own learning rather than actual patient care. Lastly, students can also feel burdened by the technology around mannequin-based simulations. It may cause stress for those who are unfamiliar and intimidated by the instruction and technology because they may feel incompetent with simulation education or lack understanding of the simulation technology. Just as pilots are trained in simulators to fly airplanes, simulation in healthcare can be used to teach health professionals the skills they need to ensure patient safety and quality healthcare. Simulations provide students with lifelike experiences that they will most likely encounter in a real clinical setting. It adds emphasis to what they have already learned through books and lectures in the classroom. Hands-on learning gained from simulations is a great way to incorporate what is learned in a safe and controlled setting where their mistakes can be corrected and their knowledge exemplified before applying it to actual patients. Being confident in a simulation setting will help students better prepare for what to expect. Without simulation in healthcare education, students may become bombarded with the surprises that may arrive in the actual clinical setting. It is one thing to read about it or hear about it, so it's another thing to actually have the hands-on experience to learn it.